Well, hello, my beautiful Aries. How are you, my beautiful ones? So, I'm taking it back to old school. I'm doing the Celtic spread like I used to do. This is in preparation for my September, where I'm just going to do a small video, like a very short video, with the astrology and the tarot, and I will have both the extended on my website for download in September. So, my gorgeous ones, it looks like you are really coming to terms with something, and looks like justice is going to be served, but there's some steps that you've got to take. So, welcome everyone. For those of you that don't know me, my name is Cindy. I am the modern day spiritual advisor. I use multiple modalities, including tarot, astrology, mediumship, all kinds of stuff to help you on your path. So, my gorgeous ones, let's get started. So, in your first position, you have the Justice. So, the Justice is about, and this is you, this is your now. So, there is a situation, or some situations, for some of you, it's a couple of situations, where you're trying to get the whole story and trying to figure out where to go from here. So the Justice card is about you being not taking action on anything yet, but actually listening to what people around you or people in that situation are saying, so that you can make the right decision about this thing, right? So it could be about love, could be about your partner, could be about your family, could be about your friends, could be about your work, your businesses. It kind of depends on where you're focused at in your life right now. So this is you trying to figure out which way to go with this situation, right? And I will tell you that justice is going to be balanced. It's going to come out, but in order to be in this, you have to keep your ego balanced, right? So oftentimes, like what I'm getting with this card, oftentimes what will happen is people will tell you what's really going on. You just have to step back and listen. Instead of talking, instead of trying to override and lead the conversation, just step back and listen. And that's kind of what this is about. It's about you sort of getting into that space of listening to what they're saying or what the situation's really about, so that you make the right decision. Okay? That's for some of you. For others of you, if you are dealing with, legalities or the law in some way, or maybe a court case of some sort, it looks like it's going to balance out. So justice will be served, which means if you kept your integrity and you've done things by the book, then it will serve on your side. If it doesn't, if you haven't, then it won't. It's got to balance out. Okay? So what's crossing you is the King of Cups. So the King of Cups is a beautiful king. So this is Spirit's advice. Their advice is to be the King of Cups. The King of Cups is someone is someone that people would go to get counsel, almost like a shaman, right? And so this king is extremely intuitive. This king doesn't need to say much. This king is just a leader by doing and by listening, right? But he's very, very wise, and he's extremely intuitive. So he kind of sees or he feels other people's situation, and he can get a grasp on it and sort of make the determination or give the lesson from there. Does that make sense? So what they're saying to do is, for some of you, in this situation, again, it's not time for you to take action. It's time for you to sit back and listen. Be the King of Cups. Be very intuitive. Listen to what people are saying. Listen to the clues around you, because the answer is there. That's basically what Spirit's advice is that the answer is there. Now, for others of you, this may actually be a person that you're dealing with who is extremely intuitive. And I feel like for some of you, this person's so intuitive that they may have, I don't want to say tricked you, but like may have done things that they thought you wanted them to do, or be the way that you thought be the way that they thought you wanted them to be, because they're so intuitive. And so for that reason, it's confused you. And so if you will just sit back and listen, it'll be very clear about what to do next. But you're going to be dealing with this in the next couple of weeks. So now to the next week. If this is a bigger group, then it's now to the next couple of weeks. So what put you in this position is the moon. So it looks like you had this ideal, it looks like you were sort of fantasizing, or maybe trying to see the better in the situation. The moon is about not seeing things very clearly and trying to see the best in a situation, and sort of ignoring the practicality or the truth of it, right? When I get this card, I can see where this person is working hard to try to figure out how to get to this person, but this person's up here looking at the moon. He's not paying any attention. And this person's really trying to, this person's being very, very practical and sees, well, you know, something can hurt them and they got to figure out how to get across. But this person's off in la la land, sort of looking at just the beauty of everything and not really worried about anything, but not doing any work in a practical way to get to the result of whatever the situation is, or to get together with you, right? Does that make sense? So it looks like one of you in this situation was being the one that wasn't seeing clearly, and I think that was you, and the other one was seeing very practical, and it could be switched. It could be you and it could be the other person. Does that make sense? So either you were not seeing things clearly and they were seeing it too clearly, or you were seeing things too clearly and they weren't making any effort to see things clearly. But whatever it was, put you in this situation where it's going to balance out, where now it's time to really take note, where now it's time to really listen, where now it's time for for the story to unfold so that you can make your decision, and to go by your feelings and getting your ego in balance. Does that make sense? Okay, so in your fourth position, this is from now probably to the middle of August, maybe a little later. You have the Hermit. So the Hermit is all about wanting to retreat, wanting to be alone, wanting to try to figure stuff out, wanting to sort of take time for yourself, wanting to isolate. And it looks like for the next couple of weeks you'll be wanting to do that because you're trying to figure this thing out. Now again, I could be talking about a money situation, a project you're doing, a love relationship, maybe family that you're dealing with. It could be your life purpose you're trying to figure out. But whatever this is, it's come to the forefront and something's got to be done about it. And so you're not wanting to make the wrong move. And so it looks like you're sort of isolating yourself to try to figure this out, right? So whenever we get this card, Spirit wants to remind us that you will get the epiphany as you connect to your higher self. As you ask the question, as you put your ego in balance, step into your higher self, then things will become clear for you, okay? So it looks like that will be happening for you in the next couple of weeks. Now, in your fifth position, I always ask your higher self, what is the one message they want to bring through to help you move forward in your life? So you have the Hanging Man, which is really interesting. So the Hanging Man is about self-sacrificing, right? The Hanging Man is about putting yourself in the situation on purpose and maybe sacrificing something because you're in the situation, right? And so you see how he can get out of that noose anytime. He can get out of that at any time. His hands are free. One of his legs is free. He can get out of that anytime. He's choosing to stay there. He's choosing to hang himself like that, right? He's choosing to stay there and he's choosing to self-sacrifice. And so maybe this is why they want you to step into your higher self, because I'm seeing where you're like, where you think you're self-sacrificing, or you think that you're giving up everything for this situation or this relationship or this thing, when in reality it was all about you getting what you wanted anyway. So I think stepping into your higher self and putting your ego in balance will help you realize that you're doing this and that you can get out of this at any time. So when you're ready, and when you're ready to go forward, and when you're ready to let go, and when you're ready to put your ego in balance, you can move forward in this situation. And that's what your higher self is trying to remind you of, that you've decided to self-sacrifice for this situation, or for this person, or for whatever's going on, right? And you can get out of it at any time. It's your world you're creating, your choices, right? You may not want to make those choices or like the choices that you have to make, but if you want to get out of that, it's time to make those choices, right? And again, I think it's because you're waiting for the rest of the story to unfold, right? That's what I feel like. I feel like it's almost like the Two of Swords, where you feel like, I'm ready to move, but I'm just waiting for them to do one more thing and then I'll do it, right? It's kind of like that. But I think it's because you feel like you don't have all the information and you're sort of waiting for proof, is what I'm getting. You're waiting for proof, okay? So in your sixth position, this is the latter part of August, you have the Three of Swords. So there is separation coming, either in this situation, with a romantic partner, with family members, with a job, with your career, whatever this is that your life is focused on right now that you're trying to figure out, there is going to be separation of this. There is going to be a breakup. There is going to be that separation. And that you'll be dealing with that in the latter part of August. Now, depending on your life, where you are on the wheel of life, you know, because what happens to a 20-year-old is not necessarily what happens to the 30-year-old Aries or the 40-year-old Aries or 50-year-old Aries. It's all different. So this could be as simple as, I have to go to work out of state. Therefore, I have to separate from my family and loved ones, which is going to drain me, but I'm excited as well, right? So, or put a strain on me, but I'm excited as well. So whatever this is, there is a separation going on. We did have this lunar eclipse, and the lunar eclipse is all about letting go. We have the North Node and the South Node on these eclipses, which means this has to do with your life path and old karma, right? And so when you're done with your karma, when you're done with these contracts and these situations, now is the time that you can complete them. They're going to be completed in the next 4 months, or you can simply tear up the contract and say, I'm done. You can do that. Okay, so you'll have to watch my astrology video. I have that, and I'll attach it at the end of this video, where I go in depth about the eclipses and what's going to be going on in the houses for you in the areas of life. Okay, so in your seventh position, this is your fear. So your fear is the devil. So the devil card is all about addiction, lust, and that me attitude, right? And that lust for life and that addiction to something, whether it's happiness or whatever it is, or just plain having fun, right? And so your fear is, will that time ever come again? It's been a while since that's been out. I've had a lot of work to do. I've been trying to figure out what to do with this situation. It wasn't moving forward. We do have a lot. Will I ever really get what I want, right? And so remember that this is just a fear. A fear is there to remind you of what you don't want. It's also it's like a wall to bounce off of, to give you force to do what it is that you want to do, right? So you know you want this in your life. You know you don't want to be without this. So move towards that, right? That's what a fear is there for. So in your eighth position, this is the way a loved one will be viewing you or dealing with you, and for some of you, this is the universe. So you have the Five of Wands. The Five of Wands is about standing in your conviction, and this is how they see you. But sometimes standing in your conviction and going to the top, or rising to the top, or getting what you want, or being sort of in that ego-based place, where your ego's higher than your spiritual side, or it's not in balance. what can happen is that we can, how do I say this? What can happen is that on our way up, we can crush people when it wasn't necessary to crush people. Or we can really, really hurt people when it wasn't necessary to really, really hurt them as we went up, right? And so what they're asking with this card, this is the way someone is dealing with you or seeing you in that manner. And so what they're asking with this card is that as you're moving toward your goal, as you're moving toward your job, your life purpose, your love situation, whatever it is that you're moving towards your money, be graceful about it, have integrity with it, and really, really take note of how you're treating people. Yeah, that's the message. So, in your 9th position, this is your hopes and dreams. And to me, it's the outer realm of the energy you're calling in. So you have new beginnings coming. We do have a lot of retrogrades this month, and we have Mercury retrograde especially. So now is the time to readjust, amend, revise, rework these things, which looks like that's what you're doing. And then the new beginnings are coming. It looks like they're coming after. They're coming once retrograde sort of passes over, Mercury retrograde. Jupiter has gone direct, but that'll just bring you gifts. And especially since we have the solar eclipse on the 11th, that's a gift on your path. Whether the gift is an understanding, an epiphany, or an actual physical gift, kind of depends on your chart. But I see new beginnings. So the Ace of Pentacles or the Ace of Coins is just the gateway. So it will bring you something, it'll bring you a new beginning, but it's up to you to make that grow. It's up to you to walk through that gate. It's up to you to really ground it and make that flourish into something bigger, right? It's just the beginning. So you have new beginnings coming. I know maybe a lot of you hadn't had beginnings in a while because you've been in this, where you've done some self-sacrificing, but really your heart was about you doing it for you. That's what they're trying to get you to understand, is that your ego needs to be in balance, and then you can get out of this at any time. I hope that makes sense. So in your 10th position, this is your overall outcome and what you'll be dealing with in the month of August. You have the 2 of Coins. This is all about balancing. All about balancing. Again, balancing your ego, balancing your life, balancing the way that you do things, balancing work and play, balancing loving others and yourself. It's really a balance. So when these things come about, the separation, the decision, the epiphany, these things that are coming about, the beginnings, the new beginnings, and the endings, the completions of some things, it's all about balancing this month for you. So just take note of that. You'll be balancing things this month, whether it's with you, your work and your loved one, your work and your partner, your work and your business and you, really having time for yourself, really spending time with family and yourself. Like, it's really about balancing for you. So my gorgeous ones, I hope this helped. I want to let you guys know I did team up with Instant Go. It's an app you can download to your phone. It's free. But you can, this way you can text me if you have one question or an aspect that you have a question about astrology, or you have a question about yourself, just one question and don't want a full session. This is the way to text me. I can text you back. Use the promo code INDIGO and you'll get $5 off of your first text. So my gorgeous ones, I love you, love you, love you. Bye.